So I figured I'll go over mounting the Canon R5C on a gimbal today. There's a few things that sort of have to be kept in mind with that. First of all, the new DJI Ronin RS2 and RS3 Pro were actually launched today. So those are now capable of connecting to the camera via Bluetooth to do trigger control and things like that. And that will work with the R5C, because with the Canon R5C, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are disabled when you are in video mode. So you still have to connect the camera by cable to the gimbal, and that means you can't charge over USB-C. And that's the reason why I use the genuine Canon DR-E6C battery dummy. I use it with the Anton Bauer P-Tap to Canon 9V cable. Links in the description down below. And I have two V-mount batteries here that we can mount that actually fit and that won't obstruct the gimbal. So one of the batteries that I have here is the PowerBase Edge. So the core SVX PowerBase Edge, which is quite popular with the likes of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K and 6K. I've been quite popular with that. So that's one, and that has a good profile to fit under the camera where I want to mount it, so that I don't obstruct my screen or my viewfinder or any of the camera really. Also, it offers a good counterbalance. The other battery I have, that's a 50 watt-hour battery, and I would expect to get about 3 to 4 hours of recording time of that with the R5C. And then I have in my case, the Netbox Nero S. This is a low profile V-mount battery, but it's a 98 watt-hour battery. So I could expect to get 6, 7, maybe 8 hours of recording time out of this. And that's actually for gimbal is really, really good, because the gimbal itself, its battery will probably also only last in around that time. So yeah, so what we do is I'll show the bits and pieces that I use to rig this all up. First things first, in many cases people sort of go and rig their camera out with a cage. And I actually bought a SMALLRIG half cage for my R5C, which is here, this. This is a really neat cage. I really like it. But the problem I find with it is that for run and gun, it's great. On a gimbal, it actually gets in my way. Because when I mount this cage, it blocks my access to my filter. I'm using the Canon filter adapter. At the moment I have the clear glass filter in here, and I can't replace the filter when the cage is fitted. So on the gimbal that becomes sort of a nuisance, and I don't need any of the functionality that is on here at the moment. So we are going to rig the camera without a cage. So, obviously there's a few parts here that are not part of the standard DJI Ronin RS2 kit, and I will get into that. So first of all, we have the gimbal unit itself, and we have the RavenEye, which is the wireless transmission system to transmit the image to your phone, and you can do your active tracking from there. So then we have the other side here, top compartment. You will still need stuff from the bottom compartment. We have a focus motor, we'll need that. We have a V-mount plate, counterbalance. I have have my battery pack. I have the SMALLRIG suitcase handle, which is actually now an equivalent product like that is actually now part of the new Ronin RS3 and RS3 Pro. We have the stand. I need this. It's a plate. We have a rod that came with the focus motor. Another mount came with the focus motor. And we will need the standard profile mount that came with the Ronin, because it has these screw holes, and this is where the mount for the rod goes for the focus motor. The low profile one doesn't have that. I have some cameras where I can mount the rod holder on the cage. In this case we don't have a cage, so we will need this. And then we start and put this aside for now. Start with mounting this. There is, as you can see, there's arrows in here. One here, one there, right? And that's also how it's mounted. Get this straight. Put this in. Give it a nice snug tug, and then basically fold that back. So that's the first thing done. Move the covers. Battery cover. Attached battery. Lock this in. Attach the foot. Okay. Let's put this aside for now. And then we'll get this into position where we can mount things. So it's all clicked back in again, right? Okay. So. Okay, so that's the start. And what I probably should have done, I will do this now, I take the lens off, is I should have started with mounting this. We can still do that. So my screws in there already. Actually, I'll take it out again for that. That makes more sense. Normally, I would have been concerned about dust getting into the sensor, but like the EOS R and the R5 before the R5C, the R5C has a shutter cover, so it's actually protected. Okay, so that's that mounted. Good. Is it nice and snug? Actually, move this a bit further over. Can no, that's it. Okay, that's it. Next thing's next is the rod going in here. Give me as much room as I can. So you can see this here. And then tighten this. Now I can fit my lens again. Great. Okay. But what I actually have here is the EF 16-35 f2.8, the Mark I lens, which I'm actually quite fond of. People are sort of giving out about that sometimes. But so the next thing I need to find is we need to, before we fit the focus motor, need to find focus gears, and we will also need some cables. So take all of these cables that I've tucked away here, and they go in there. And then DJI gives us a generic focus ring. You can buy better focus rings that that suit the lens diameter, but this is always a good universal solution to start with. And we'll fit this on the zoom portion. Pull this hard, a little bit harder. So there. Is that snug? Quite happy with that. Probably have to. I probably should go and I should put this further over here. Yeah, somewhere around that. So basically I've now mounted all the way to 35 millimeters of focal length so that I don't have to, and then when I go to maximum here, it'll be over here. That's great. So that's that. So the next thing is the focus motor. Comes on here. Okay. Hold that against the camera and then tighten that in. Yes. So that's that part done. Now we get to the interesting part. First of all, I want to balance the camera on the first axis here, so I know pretty much where the plate is. Release this. Come back a bit. That's good. Okay, lock this back in again. And then turn this around. And now we get to this. This little piece here is a SMALLRIG counterweight. And that's part of what I use to rig the battery on the camera. And the other plate here, my V-mount plate, is a plate from a company called NICEYRIG. There is another plate from Tilter that has basically this whole thing in one. Actually, I think it's even the plate in one, but it's quite pricey. So this is sort of a more cost-effective solution. Is the term I was looking for. So, and I mount this with the wheel to the right, because then it doesn't interfere with this wheel. Actually, sorry, with the wheel to the left. So it will be upside down. Yeah. and I've mounted it at the very end of the plate for now. That can always be adjusted. And see this V-mount plate, or this counterbalance weight, gets mounted under the camera, under the camera plate, and it attaches nicely like this. And what it does is that you now have a nice balanced counterweight. So I'll take the let's take the PowerBase and click this in here. And as you can see, if I now open up, it clears 100%. Nothing going in the way anywhere. So where you have something going against is actually here. That's okay. Yeah, so we counterbalance this again. The weight has obviously shifted a little bit in the meanwhile. The battery now attached. Okay, so I need to move the battery a bit to the back. So I have some space to maneuver. And then we go. Perfect. And as you can see, that's the battery mounted down underneath there. So, and then before it gets too late, I'll start putting the dummy battery in. Dummy battery goes in as usual. You thread the cable through here, and then in the camera there's this little flap here, and that opens up for your cable. Dummy battery goes in, wire the cable here through, close the battery again, and then the camera can go back on the gimbal. Okay. So, then we have the Anton Bauer P-tap cable that goes in here. And I can use at the end I can use a Velcro strap to basically then to tidy things up. Now what I want to show on this particular battery is that I have here that battery is not, yeah, 2 hours 55 minutes says. So that battery is good. I have a display so I can see where I'm at with my battery. Okay, next things next. The RavenEye. Okay, and because we obviously also need to wire up the USB cabling. See here, so there's a little flap here, little plastic cover that comes off, and that opens up for three. That opens up for 3 USB-C ports there. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the top port there. Top port is for the camera. Wire that through here, and it goes into the USB-C port on the camera. Just make sure we don't. Yeah. The middle port is for the focus motor. Okay. And the lowest port is for the RavenEye. Okay. So, fire up the camera, take off the lens cap, turn this around, turn on the RavenEye, and that's on. Okay. We will rebalance the top because now I've added the RavenEye. See if that's still, yes, nearly there. There. Okay, that's the top done. Now the next axis. Definitely needs some adjustment here. Actually, it's the other way. There we go. And now the bottom axis. No, did I not lock you in? I did. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so that's locked. Unlock. Unlock. Everything fairly stable. And then I power up the gimbal. Okay. I then also add this handle here. Okay. So additionally, actually let me turn this around. So we do the calibration. That's complete. And then additionally, you see, there's a menu I need to find for the focus motor. Or dial functions, yes. Focus motor, yeah. Focus motor endpoint. Focus motor calibration. And you see how it now runs all the way over, forth and back to find the maximum, and it has confirmed that that's now set. Okay. Yeah. So what's now missing is obviously the HDMI cable for the RavenEye. Okay. And then I'll get a strap of some kind to get this cable in check. So what I like to do is I like to just Eventually I'll probably just put a Velcro on this, and I can Velcro this on somewhere. But for now we'll just do this here. Strap this all up. Piece of Velcro. So, and then have a bigger piece that can basically strap around the battery base, even on top here. Actually, I might be able to tuck this in here at the front. This is not the most professional way of doing things right now, but it will work for the minute. Okay, so basically, as you can see, I have now a fully working rig that I can use in any way, form or shape with about 3 hours of battery. And as I was going to demonstrate, I switched the battery off here of the camera. Turn the gimbal off. So then take this battery pack, and I detach that, and I'll take the 98 watt-hour netbox one. We do the rebalancing. Just on top axis, actually nearly perfect. There's not much of a difference in the two. There we go. Okay, this is a bit different. Take this, put my cables in here. This can be done a lot better. It's basic janky in here, and this has a D-tap on the side. That's the other side around. So, unlock all 3 axes. Turn the gimbal on. Turn the camera on. Great. Right, I run the calibration again just for good measure. There's not a whole lot of changes that we've done. Confirm. Okay. So even as you can see, with the netbox battery, I have plenty of room for this. And let me show you with the zoom. I can operate that from here. So the zoom works obviously because that's the focus motor. Start stop works. There isn't much other functionality for the R5C on the Ronin RS2. So I hope that gives a good idea on how gimbal assembly works with the R5C, and I'll see you for another one. Have a nice day. Hey, you're still here. Bye.